This mysterious image captured during a powerful lightning storm over Brisbane has become one of the most compelling modern examples of unexplained aerial phenomena appearing in extreme weather conditions. Taken on the evening of Monday the 24th of November, the photograph was captured from the covered balcony of an apartment during a microburst storm that lit the sky with near-constant flashes of lightning. The photographer was positioned outdoors with no glass or reflective surfaces nearby, carefully documenting the storm as it unfolded across the city skyline. At the time the images were taken, nothing unusual was noticed with the naked eye. It was only later, while reviewing the photographs in sequence, that something truly unsettling emerged. Among a series of otherwise ordinary storm images, one photograph revealed a dark, sharply defined rectangular object embedded within the illuminated cloud mass. The image before and the image after showed nothing out of the ordinary, only lightning illuminating dense storm clouds. Yet in this single frame, a structured form appeared, seemingly suspended within the clouds themselves. The object had straight edges, a symmetrical shape, and a presence that contrasted starkly with the organic movement of the storm. Its sudden appearance and equally sudden disappearance has become the central mystery of the case. What makes this image particularly compelling is its timing. The object appeared precisely during a lightning discharge, when the clouds were briefly illuminated from within. This has led many researchers who study unidentified aerial phenomena to suggest that thunderstorms may play a significant role in revealing objects that are otherwise hidden. There is a long history of strange sightings occurring during electrical storms, dating back decades, with reports of structured craft appearing momentarily within lightning clouds before vanishing without a trace. The Brisbane photograph fits seamlessly into this pattern. Within groups that investigate unexplained aerial encounters, many believe that the object did not arrive during the storm, but was already present and only became visible due to the intense electrical activity. According to this perspective, the lightning acted as a brief backlight, illuminating something that normally remains concealed. This has fueled speculation that some advanced craft may possess cloaking capabilities, bending light or electromagnetic fields in a way that renders them invisible under normal conditions. During a lightning strike, however, that concealment may momentarily fail. Another theory suggests that thunderstorms themselves may serve a functional purpose for these objects. Some researchers believe that high-energy atmospheric conditions could be used as a power source or recharge mechanism. Lightning storms release immense amounts of electrical energy, and it has been proposed that highly advanced technology could harness this energy directly from the atmosphere. If this were the case, it would explain why such objects are repeatedly observed near or within severe storms, and why sightings are often fleeting and difficult to capture. The Brisbane image has also drawn attention due to the apparent solidity of the object. Unlike cloud anomalies or electrical artifacts, the form maintains consistent edges and proportions. It does not stretch, blur, or dissipate in a way consistent with vapor or debris. Its shape appears deliberate, engineered, and artificial. The rectangular appearance is especially notable, as it differs from the more commonly reported triangular or disc-shaped objects. This has led some to suggest that different craft designs may serve different purposes or originate from entirely different sources. There has also been discussion surrounding the possibility of experimental military technology. Australia hosts several defence installations, and some have suggested that advanced surveillance or atmospheric platforms could be undergoing testing. However, this explanation raises significant concerns. If such technology were being tested, exposing it during a public storm over a major city would represent a serious breach of operational secrecy. Advanced projects require extreme discretion, and allowing them to be illuminated above populated areas contradicts standard security practices. This inconsistency has caused many to dismiss the military explanation altogether. Equally important is the photographer's testimony. The individual has stated clearly that there were no drones, aircraft, or unusual sounds present at the time. The object produced no audible noise and left no visible trail. The environment was chaotic, yet controlled, and the photographer was experienced enough to recognize when something did not belong in the frame. The fact that only one image in the sequence captured the object suggests that it was present for only a fraction of a second, reinforcing the idea of either sudden manifestation or rapid concealment. The emotional response to the image has been just as powerful as the analytical one. Many who have viewed it report a strong sense of unease, not because of fear, but because of recognition. The object appears purposeful, as if observing rather than passing through. This sense of intent has been echoed in countless other storm-related sightings across the world, where witnesses describe feeling watched during moments of intense atmospheric activity. The Brisbane photograph stands as a reminder that the skies above familiar cities may hold far more complexity than previously assumed. It challenges conventional explanations and invites a broader understanding of how advanced phenomena might interact with natural forces. The fact that similar objects have been reported in different countries during different storms over many years suggests a pattern that can no longer be easily dismissed. As technology improves and more people document extreme weather events, it is likely that additional images like this will surface. The mysterious Washington event. The mysterious events that unfolded over Washington, District of Columbia in the summer of 1952 remain one of the most extraordinary and unsettling episodes in the history of unidentified aerial phenomena. Often referred to as the Washington, D.C. incident or the Washington, D.C. UFO invasion, this series of encounters involved commercial pilots, military personnel, radar operators, and civilians, all witnessing objects that defied explanation and appeared to deliberately enter the most sensitive airspace in the United States. What makes the incident so compelling is not only the sheer number of sightings, but the consistency of the reports, the radar confirmations, and the apparent awareness these objects displayed when confronted by military aircraft. The first signs of the unfolding mystery appeared on the 10th of July, 1952. A crew aboard a National Airlines flight reported seeing a strange light over Quantico, Virginia. The object was described as far too bright to be a weather balloon and far too slow to be a meteor. Its movement was controlled and deliberate, holding position before drifting away. At the time, such reports were quietly noted by official investigators, but did not reach the wider public. However, this sighting would soon prove to be only the beginning. On the 13th of July, another commercial airliner reported a similar phenomenon. This aircraft was flying at an altitude of approximately 11,000 feet and was positioned roughly 60 miles south of Washington. The crew observed a bright object below their plane, only for it to rise steadily until it matched their altitude. The object then hovered off the aircraft's left side for several minutes, maintaining a precise distance, before suddenly accelerating away in a steep upward climb. The speed and maneuverability displayed were far beyond what any known aircraft of the time could achieve. The following evening brought yet another report, this time from a Pan-American flight traveling from New York to Miami. The crew observed 8 distinct objects over Newport News, Virginia. These objects appeared to maneuver independently yet with coordination, suggesting intelligence and control. 2 nights later, on the 16th of July, a ground-based sighting added further weight to the growing mystery. Just after 9 in the evening at Langley Air Force Base, a scientist working for the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics, accompanied by another man, observed 2 amber-colored lights glowing in the sky. The witness later stated that the lights were much too large to be aircraft and that they moved in complete silence. After several minutes, the lights reversed direction, separated, and appeared to jockey for position before a third light joined them. The 3 objects then formed a structured formation and vanished from sight. Despite these increasingly dramatic encounters, the general public remained largely unaware. That would change dramatically on the night of the 19th of July. At approximately 11:40 in the evening, radar operators at Washington National Airport observed 7 unknown targets suddenly appear on their screens. These objects were positioned roughly 15 miles south of the city and moved erratically, with no consistent heading or altitude. Senior Air Traffic Controller Harry Barnes immediately recognized the seriousness of the situation. He requested confirmation from other controllers, who verified that the radar equipment was functioning normally. The objects were real, tracked, and maneuvering in ways that defied conventional explanation. Barnes watched as one of the targets accelerated at astonishing speed, disappearing from the screen almost instantly. Within minutes, additional objects began appearing over different parts of the city. As midnight passed and the early hours of the 20th of July began, reports flooded in from commercial pilots flying in and around Washington. Multiple crews described glowing objects pacing their aircraft, darting across the sky and hovering motionless before accelerating away. The situation escalated when Barnes observed the unknown targets moving directly toward Washington itself, including airspace near the White House and Capitol building. Recognizing the gravity of this development, Barnes contacted Andrews Air Force Base. From the control tower, Airman William Brady visually confirmed one of the objects, describing it as resembling an orange ball of fire. Brady reported that the object suddenly accelerated at an unbelievable speed and vanished. Other personnel at Andrews also reported seeing similar displays throughout the night. At Washington National Airport, radio communications added another layer to the unfolding drama. A controller requested that Capital Airlines Flight 807 report any unusual lights in its vicinity. Before the transmission could be completed, an urgent voice interrupted the channel. The speaker was Casey Pearman, a veteran pilot with 17 years of experience, seated in his DC-4 aircraft and awaiting clearance. Pearman exclaimed that he could see one of the objects off to the right. Over the next several minutes, he described bright lights moving like falling stars without tails. What made Pearman's account especially remarkable was that his descriptions matched exactly what radar operators were observing in real time. As he reported an object accelerating or changing direction, the corresponding radar target did the same. This simultaneous visual and radar confirmation left little room for conventional explanations. Several hours later, shortly after 4 a.m, another commercial pilot approaching Washington National Airport reported a strange light to the left of his aircraft. Radar operators tracked the object as well. When the pilot stated that the light had moved away and disappeared, the radar target vanished at the exact same moment. By this point, the situation had reached a level that demanded a military response. Around 3 a.m, personnel at Newcastle Air Force Base prepared 2 F-94 interceptor jets for launch. The aircraft took off and patrolled the skies over Washington. Almost immediately upon their arrival, the unknown objects disappeared from radar. The jets remained airborne until their fuel levels required them to return to base. What happened next would become one of the most controversial aspects of the entire incident. Within minutes of the jets leaving the area, the unknown objects reappeared on radar. To Barnes and others monitoring the situation, this strongly suggested that the objects were aware of radio communications and military movements. Barnes would later state that it appeared the objects were deliberately avoiding interception. The activity continued until approximately 5:30 in the morning, at which point the objects finally departed the area. By then, the incident had lasted over 6 hours. Within days, newspapers across the nation carried front-page stories describing mysterious objects over the Capitol. Public concern grew rapidly, and pressure mounted for official explanations. Harry Barnes compiled a detailed report of the events, concluding that at least 10 unidentified objects had operated over Washington during the night. The report emphasized the radar confirmations, the visual sightings, and the extraordinary performance characteristics displayed by the objects. At this stage, internal tensions within official investigative bodies began to surface. Edward J. Ruppelt, a key figure involved in the investigation of such phenomena, sought to visit the control towers at Washington National Airport and Andrews Air Force Base to review the data and interview witnesses. Strangely, he learned of the incident not through official channels, but through a newspaper article. His request for transportation was denied, with the suggestion that he use public transport, a decision that effectively hindered his ability to conduct a timely investigation. This behavior raised serious questions about transparency. While public statements downplayed the incident, internal actions suggested reluctance to allow thorough scrutiny. In hindsight, many researchers believe this marked a turning point, revealing a clear divide between public reassurance and private concern. Those who witnessed the events firsthand were not convinced by dismissive explanations. Howard Coughlin, one of the radar controllers, stated unequivocally that he believed the objects were not of human origin, a belief he maintained long after the incident. Just 1 week later, on the 26th of July, the phenomenon returned. Once again, pilots reported glowing objects over Washington. A B-29 pilot described seeing 3 white flashing objects edged with amber light, moving at incredible speed and leaving yellowish trails. ground personnel at Andrews Air Force Base observed blue-white lights traveling at rates that defied comprehension. One particularly intriguing detail from a sergeant's account described the lights as turning off rather than moving away. This sudden extinguishing of illumination has been reported in numerous UFO encounters over the decades and suggests advanced control over visibility rather than simple motion. Radar operators again detected numerous targets, sometimes so many that the systems struggled to display them accurately. As before, the objects maneuvered in ways no conventional aircraft could replicate. During this second wave, Al Chop, a public relations officer connected to the investigative project, received an urgent call from Washington National Airport. He was informed that UFOs were appearing on radar both there and at Andrews Air Force Base. Reporters had already begun gathering, pressing for answers. Once again, interceptor jets were scrambled, and once again, the objects vanished as the aircraft approached, only to return after the jets departed. Ruppelt would later state that rather than disappearing, the objects relocated to the Newport News area. While official sources denied this, residents in that region reported strange lights in the sky. Taken as a whole, the Washington, D.C. incident presents a deeply compelling case. The objects demonstrated intelligence, awareness, and technological capabilities far beyond known human technology of the time. They appeared deliberately over the most heavily defended airspace in the nation, interacted with military responses, and withdrew in a manner that suggested control rather than chance. Decades later, the incident remains unresolved.